Hey, beautiful friend, it's Marnie. I'm so glad to have you back with me today. Today's guest is an elite member of the fewer than 400 individuals who have climbed each of the Earth's highest 7 summits, including Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Everest, Mount Vinson in Antarctica, and Mount Elbrus in Russia, to name a few. She has participated in 4 eco-challenges, raced 150 plus miles across various deserts, has biked across America, and adventure raced around the globe. Her name is Deanette Wells, and she has just written a beautiful book called Another Step Up the Mountain, depicting her journey through loss and grief. And she's here today to show us how we can all find our own way to tackle and climb our own Everest, whatever that is for you. Stick around because you're not going to want to miss this. Welcome to this episode of Life is Delicious. I'm Marnie Martin, and I'm so glad you're here. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the Life is Delicious family. This podcast isn't about surviving midlife. It's about crafting your next chapter life, overflowing with purpose, joy, and delicious possibilities. Listen, midlife doesn't have to be a crisis. It can be a beautiful invitation to remember who we are, to rediscover a new version of ourselves, or to completely reinvent our life to reflect who we are becoming now. So if you're tired of being exhausted, living life on autopilot, and putting everyone else first, then you are in the right place. Each week, we'll bring you thought-provoking ideas and practical strategies, as well as inspiration to help you prioritize yourself again. It's time to take back your joie de vivre. So grab a notebook and pen and pop in those earbuds, and let's go get it. Let's face it, you need energy to hit the gym, grind out a long workday, get through those midterm exams, or chase your grandkids around the yard. What you don't need is caffeine, sugar, artificial flavors and colors, or other chemicals from energy drinks that leave you with the dreaded afternoon slump or a downright crash in energy. The Boost Super Patch is designed to offer a clean energy alternative for athletes, students, executives, and busy moms and dads who need an all-day energy lift. It's safe, all-natural, non-invasive, 0 calories, and 100% drug-free. Super Patch uses vibro-tactile technology to stimulate the skin's neural response through a unique pattern similar to a QR code that sends signals to the brain and your nervous system to stimulate and elevate your energy levels. You can get 25% off your first order at lifeisdelicious.superpatch.com. Naturally power up your day with the Boost Super Patch and enjoy peak performance and clean energy that lasts. That's lifeisdelicious.superpatch.com for a 25% discount. Welcome, Deanette, to the show. I'm so grateful to have you here. You have such an amazing story, and I think we can really learn a lot from what you have put into your new book, Another Step Up the Mountain. Tell us a little bit about where your love of adventure came from.
You know, I'm not really sure. I know that we went camping as kids, but we weren't allowed to be intense or get dirty or get wet. It was a very weird camping thing. But yeah, I don't know. As a kid, I always wanted to play outside and ride my bike and get lost. And when I became an adult and could really do it, that's kind of where my life headed.
And so I know you had 3 children. So did you start doing the 7 summits while you had your kids, or was it before?
No, I didn't do any of these things before I had kids. My very first mountain that I climbed was in '98, and I had 3 kids at that point. And so everything I've done has been while I've been a mom.
Wow, and that's made a massive impact, obviously, on at least one of your children. But did all of your kids have that same sense of adventure, or just your son,
Nope,
Johnny?
they did. Both of my daughters have climbed Kilimanjaro. They're very adventurous in, their travels and how they live their lives. And yeah, no, it just kind of trickled down to all of my kids.
And so I know there's only something like less than 400 people who've actually climbed all 7 summits. So that's a pretty amazing accomplishment. Is that something you set out to do, or was it just you did one and then it was like, well, let's do another?
In the back of my head, I had a horrible fear of heights. And I never thought I could climb Everest. It just wasn't on my radar until I read a book and someone described the Lhotse face very clearly. And I thought, oh, if that's what it's like, I could do that. And so, over, I don't know, an 8 or 11 year time span, I can't remember, I just started knocking them off one by one. And then, of course, at some point, you're on that path towards climbing the seven summits. And, at some point, okay, that's the goal. And then you try to do them in a good order. And yeah, before you know it, you've done all seven of them.
Wow, that's impressive. And a lot of obviously having to overcome your fear in the process. How did you do that when you had such a debilitating fear of heights?
So I try not to look down unless I'm super secure on a rope. I don't look down. I look up, I'll look to the side, but I don't turn around and look down.
Oh, interesting. That's amazing that you can make that work. Wow. So tell us, I know you have a very interesting story, and of course, that's the inspiration for part of your book anyway, Another Step Up the Mountain. Tell us about the journey with your son and how he also came in the process of having that incredible sense of adventure and from a very young age.
Yeah, he had it before I think any of us had it. He was just, this wild little kid who was always climbing, always jumping, always in search of the new fun thing. And yeah, as soon as he was old enough to speak, he just was all in on whatever adventure was going on. And if there wasn't one going on, he would make one happen. It's just amazing that way. And the older he got, and he was very strong, he would train. He started paragliding, and then he had a crash. And so he put a stop to that for a little while. And that's when he really started climbing mountains with his father and I. By the time he was 17, he had climbed the seven summits. And of course, by then, shortly thereafter, he turned 18 and then could start other sports that, we wouldn't let him do when he was younger. But as an adult, a legal adult, he could do whatever he wanted.
Well, and of course, after getting through all seven summits at such a young age, he obviously had some, drive and stick-to-itiveness and strength and, all of those things. So that's a pretty good start for your next chapter.
Yeah, he was really physically strong and, well trained. So yeah, when he wanted to do something, he trained for it, he worked hard, and he made it happen.
Well, I think he probably had some good examples at home.
A couple.
So tell us his story and how it impacted the way you moved forward with the rest of your life, if you don't mind.
Well, he passed away wingsuiting, if that's what you're asking about. And yeah, how it impacted my life was, losing a child there is nothing worse. And I was scheduled to go to Everest in the spring of 2016 to climb Everest, Lhotse, and Nuptse. Big deposit paid. I had moved to Park City to train. And then, when the accident happened, that fell by the wayside. I wasn't going to climb, Everest at that point. I am trying to get back there now. I think it'd be a great place to celebrate my 60th birthday next spring. So yeah, it just takes time to learn to live a different way and learn to live with this thing that's happened.
Yeah. So what do you think was the main thing that helped you navigate those next steps? Because I know that's obviously something you took a long time to be able to articulate in the book, but it's changed your life, and obviously you feel like it could change other people's lives as well.
Well, just, don't give up. You lose a child or you even have a child, and, don't give up or look past those dreams that you had because, they're still valid. You're here on this planet. Those who are still here, we're meant to live and live a good life, and you can't just call it quits and say, I'm not going to do anything anymore. I don't think that's what we're meant to do here on this planet. I think we're meant to live really good, joyful, happy lives. And, it takes a while to get back to that point, but you can, and, you will. You just have to fight through it and, don't give in to the grief.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, but it's a process of going through all of those different things, but still being able to remember who you are in the process.
Yeah, if you allow it to, it will come back around.
Yeah. And I know there's a documentary on him called American Daredevil, and that is, where can we find that?
So that's on Peacock. And then some friends of mine said that they also found his documentary by another title. It's called Born to Fly. And that's on, is it Tubi or
I
Ubi?
think it's Tubi,
I can never
Tubi.
remember. Yeah, so Tubi also has it, but it's under the name of Born to Fly.
Awesome. And I know Johnny had an amazing humanitarian approach to the way he did things as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, very into philanthropy, genocide, and curing Parkinson's. His best friend's dad has Parkinson's, and that was really important to Johnny to, you know, get the word out about it. And if there was any way to raise money for it, Johnny was all in. So he
Wow.
geared his climbs and his adventures. Every summit, he would hold up a sign that said, stop genocide, cure Parkinson's. And it wasn't just like he was out there just to have fun. It was always with a purpose. That made me very proud as a mom.
Of course, of course. That's amazing. So tell me, maybe, what was your most fun race? Because I know you've done a whole bunch of different races, and that became something that has kind of defined your life. So what was the one that was the most fun for you?
It's funny because most fun was also the most difficult, and that was Eco Challenge Fiji in 2002. The one in 2019, my team, we pulled out maybe 24 hours from the finish line. One of our guys had gone septic, but in 2002, with Charlie Engel and Marshall Ulrich and Mark Macy, we crossed the finish line, and that race was just insane. How people didn't die during that race, I'll never know, but that race was incredibly fun and deeply, deeply difficult.
So what advice would you have for someone who wants to maybe start getting into doing some of this adventure racing, or possibly even climbing some of these summits? So there's obviously some mental mindset that you have to have, aside from the physical component. What kind of advice could you give to people wanting to maybe take that on?
You know what? Sign up. Just sign up for something. It could be a 5K. If just start Googling, there's a whole bunch of adventure races out there, and teams are looking for people, especially women. And it's just putting yourself out there and signing up. Learn to kayak. You don't have to be an expert mountain biker or an expert kayaker or any of those things. You just have to be proficient. And then, the more you do each thing, the better you'll get at it. And, it comes with time, but it's so worth it because you meet the most incredible people. You have these insane experiences. I mean, from being lost in the jungles of Panama and having the military out looking for you to, almost drowning in a river in Borneo. I mean, there aren't enough pages in a book for the amounts of adventures and crazy stories. It's getting yourself out there.
So your book, Another Step Up the Mountain, is obviously talking about your adventures, but I know you kind of refer to each person has their own personal Everest, and it might be something very simple. So tell us a little bit about that philosophy, about how we can tap into our own inner strength when things are hard.
So that inner Everest thing, I mean, some days, like what seems to be this huge mountain, on another day it might just be a molehill to us. But like sometimes getting out of bed in the morning might be your Everest of the day, or a pipe burst. There's always something in our day-to-day lives, and it's just sometimes it's just baby steps, little steps at a time, and a lot of deep breathing and just slowing things down a little bit until you can get the right footing, and not just sitting on the couch and giving up and ignoring it, but little baby steps until you accomplish whatever it is you need to accomplish in that day.
Amazing. I love that. It's really inspirational to hear your story, and I can't imagine doing what you've done. And I think Mount Whitney was one of the first ones you climbed with your girlfriends.
It is. I'm actually going back there next week to do climb number 17 of it. I mean, we were a bunch of Malibu housewives. We had no idea what we were doing, but no matter what, we were going to have a good time. And we did. We also got a summit out of it. So none of us had any expectations of we're going to summit or who knew what we were going to do or what was going to happen. But it ended up being one of those pivotal moments in life of, oh, hey, look what this is going to lead to. And, that one climb kind of changed everything.
Yeah, we talk a lot about on the podcast about how midlife sometimes can feel like, oh, I'm too old to try something new, or it's my body's not up to that. But I think there's so much evidence to the contrary that now is the time when we can open ourselves up to new experiences, and it just creates a whole new world.
It really does. And that age thing, I hear it all the time. Or, I want to do this, but later or someday. And that is not a real time frame. Someday never happens and later never happens. I mean, later happens, but then you haven't accomplished anything. So put age out of your mind. I'll turn 60 next spring, and I just took up dragon boat racing, and I'm having the time of my life doing that. Instead of saying, oh, I'm too old to try something new, why not? You have nothing to lose. We have nothing to lose at this stage in our lives. Like, now's the time, while we still can, it's just to go for it. We might not like it. Okay, so don't do it again. Or maybe we're not, physically there, but you will get there if it's something you really like. I think the best thing is just to say yes to everything and see what you like. You never know.
Yeah, because this is the time when we kind of have that extra little bit of time that we can put the energy into ourselves after we've raised our kids. And, that's a perfect time to be able to dedicate something and take something up for yourself that maybe you'd never thought you could do before.
Exactly. Because, the kids and then grandkids, there's that little window that your kids are gone, you're an empty nester, and before you have grandkids, that's the time to take advantage of it. But even when you do have grandkids, I now have a granddaughter, and I'm thinking, where's my time spent? But I still can't give up what I'm super passionate about. And I think it'll be a good example to my granddaughter someday when she hears the stories of, grandma did what? 'Cause people think grandmas are old, and no, just wait. I can't wait to tell her stories.
I know, and I'm in that same space too because my kids are not married or don't have kids yet, so I'm kind of in that little window, and so that's why we talk about this a lot, because it's really important to be able to do that. And you set an example, just like you said, for your kids and for your grandkids to say, it's do something new. You are capable and you are able if you have the willingness.
Yeah, and why not? I mean, life is short. We have to make the most out of it, and we have to have fun.
Absolutely. I agree. So tell us a little bit more about your book and where we can find it, and maybe where else we can find you on social media as well if somebody wants to read your story.
Well, I'm on Facebook, Deanette Wells Adventure Athlete, I think it is, and Instagram, just Deanette Wells. And then my book, Another Step Up the Mountain, can be bought on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you order your books or your audiobooks. It should be there. And yeah, I'd be thrilled if people bought it and read it. And hopefully it will inspire them to, get out the door and do something fun for themselves.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. I will definitely put all the links to those in the show notes, and hopefully we can connect again soon.
I would love that. And let me know if you go on any fun adventures.
I hope you loved today's episode. I hope it inspired you or motivated you in some way to keep going and create your very best life. If you did, would you stop and take 5 minutes to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts? It's the best way for me to know that you're enjoying the show, and it helps other listeners find us as well. And while you're at it, head over to lifeisdelicious.ca and sign up for email updates so you'll get notified every time a new episode drops. And I'll send you a free copy of my ebook, The Midlife Manifesto, inspiring strategies for mastering the 8 most important areas of your life. Sign up today at lifeisdelicious.ca. And if no one has told you today, There's not one person on this planet that is exactly like you. And the world is a better place because you're here. So thank you for being here. I'll be back next week, and I hope you'll join me right here on Life is Delicious.